So today there's a couple of main topics that I wanted to talk about, two of them being Fnatic and Jojopyun. Now, we're on the cheap esports transfer hub right now because it's something I think a lot of people have noticed, and it's actually pretty interesting, that up in the top left-hand corner, we have the Fnatic roster, where we have Oscar and Razork locked in for the 2025 season. Those are things that Sheep Esports so far has reported on or feels confident enough about those players actually returning to the starting lineups for next season. But you can see there's an opening in mid lane. There's an opening at AD carry. There's an opening at support. So that has led some people to wonder, is Fnatic going to be making some changes? Where are those changes going to be? And obviously the most surprising one here is maybe not most surprising, but I think people are it's at least piquing their interest of, hey, Humanoid's not locked for next season. Like there could be some mid lane changes there. And that is the biggest story of what I wanted to cover first in this video today, because I was actually told by Eros, this is kind of a scoop or some news or whatever, that Fnatic was actually interested in Jojopyun. Now, obviously, Jojopyun, we do know he ends up going to Mad Lions Koi. It's this very big deal. This, the first ever North American prospect, North American talent to go over to Europe, to go to the LEC. It's going to be very interesting to see how he plays out. And this is a big, maybe a big risk for Jojopyun, and also probably a big risk for Mad Lions Koi as well. We haven't seen a player like this get imported. We haven't seen a North American go over to the LEC. We don't know how that's going to work out, and if it goes bad, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of flame for them. But then also to hear that other LEC teams, even a team as obviously historic and big and everything as Fnatic, was interested, that is pretty interesting. So yeah, what Eros had to say here is that obviously he had interest from Mad Lions Koi, but then we also know that Team Heretics was interested in him as well. We can see here over in the top right, we have Heretics, who is Carlson, Shio, Flockhead, and Stend, with that mid lane position open, where they potentially had some interest in Jojopyun. And then he says the last team that came to the race, he says Fnatic was later on, just within the last couple of days, starting to show some interest in Jojopyun, was actually Fnatic. Now, again, if we look around this thing, there's no openings in the mid lane. I know I'm covering up SK Gaming here, but SK Gaming does have Reeker in the mid lane. We have Rogue with Larson. We have, Jackie's, Caps, Jojo, Vladdy, Chayek, and Nuke. So there's only a couple teams with openings in the mid lane. So if there were teams, fighting for Jojopyun, Fnatic, Heretics, and Mad Lions were those options. And yeah, I think this is actually pretty big news, and this is pretty interesting. That Fnatic would have been potentially willing to go with Jojopyun in the mid lane over Humanoid, and that maybe speaks to the level of Jojopyun, or I don't know. Obviously, Jojopyun is a very, very talented player, because I know there were some people being like, oh, what is Mad Lions doing? Is Jojopyun even that good? He's coming off a year where he wasn't that great, where he was out of form, where it was overall a pretty disappointing year for Cloud9 and them, but yeah, pretty crazy. But also to hear that Fnatic was potentially interested, I think that is a pretty big scoop. It's a pretty big story. When Eros told me that, I was thinking that was a little bit spicy. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean Humanoid is out. That doesn't mean Humanoid is gone. Now, I'm sure Humanoid probably doesn't necessarily love hearing that they were interested in replacing him with Jojopyun. But that's really the extent of what I know, or what I've been told from the situation so far. I did think this was kind of funny too, and I know a lot of people have been making this joke. Thorin saying, "Genius move to join a Spanish team if you're always late." Obviously, Jojopyun, with the rumors or allegations or whatever of some tardiness or whatever issues and drama ended up happening at Cloud9 and LEC, I think people were saying like they start their scrims later in the day, and then also some people, talking about just tardiness issues over in Spain and stuff overall. So maybe it's going to be a match made in heaven, who knows. But as far as some of the other updates with Fnatic and what's going on, getting the words from the guys themselves, I wanted to play a little Twitch clip, obviously from the discussion we had on Fnatic yesterday as well, just to give the Fnatic fans on an update. Obviously, they had interest in Jojopyun, they're not getting him. So what is going on with Fnatic offseason? Hopefully this will clear some things up. But yeah, thanks for tuning into this part so far. Getting into some of the big name teams, a little bit more, maybe what people are waiting for a little bit. I know we have some Fnatic stuff next. Alejandro, you want to take it away on some Fnatic stuff for everybody? I know maybe there's not everything we can necessarily go super deep into, but still, what can you tell us about Fnatic?
Well, what I can say for sure is that Fnatic is moving. Fnatic is exploring the market. The most likely scenario is that there will be changes in the team. I'm probably out of the team, but we will see. They had meetings. I mean, they were in Worlds like 1 week ago, something like that. So they are still figuring what is the best for the team. Of course, we secured 2 players Oscarinin and Razork. The other ones, I am not saying that they are not going to continue, which, to be honest, there is likely that some of them continue. But for sure, one of them is probably leaving. So we will see if Eros or Gulu can say something.
Yeah, I think Humanoid is staying 100%. Well, 99%. I'm really confident into that. But yeah, and I also feel as Alejandro told, Fnatic is moving. They're trying to figure out this off-season puzzle. I think there will be changes on staff and on the rosters. So yeah, let's see if they make a decision and we can get to know more a bit about their plans and all these things.
Yeah, Wooloo, you were making some faces. You got some Fnatic stuff to throw out there?
Yeah, because I'm not so as certain as Eros about changes happening or not. I mean, I made a face when you talked about Humanoid, and I think Humanoid is likely staying, right? But as Alejandro said, Fnatic are still figuring things out, but they still have to decide on the roster. So it's not as simple as this player is out, this player is not out. They have to decide based on the options that are available. Obviously, the top side is extremely likely to stay. Not going to lie, but yeah, it's not like G2 where they finish Worlds, they make changes instantly, which is something very typical of G2 because it was the same thing 2 years ago when just after Worlds we had the bench of Flakot, we had the bench of Jankos. While same thing last year, 2 years ago, Fnatic, they make their decisions much later. They are always late in the off-season. Fnatic, not late in their plans, but on acting on their decisions.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. Yeah, is that something that you think they do like by design? Do you think they would prefer to get their stuff done earlier? Do you think they like to get their stuff done later? Do you think it's good that they wait? Do you think it's bad that they wait? Can you say anything about that?
Well, it's just a different strategy. At least a good thing about it is that you are not busy with it during Worlds, which if there are leaks, can be a bit problematic. But the bad thing, I would say, is that if you are a player who is being benched, and you know it very late into off-season, that can reduce your options. So we know, for example, that Yike and Mickey in G2 are exploring their options. So that's a good thing for the players. Yeah.
You do think it's by design, though? You think Fnatic waits on purpose? You don't think it's like, because I could see the other side of it being like, oh, Fnatic has to wait because like players, don't have Fnatic as their first option, so they have to wait and see if they can go to G2 first and then end up at Fnatic. You are kind of sounding like it's more so like Fnatic is waiting on purpose, being a little bit more patient on purpose.
Yeah, I think it's part of the strategy because we often see every year that Fnatic takes time to make decisions into off-season. So I don't have the details exactly of why they do that. But yeah, this is something I've noticed covering off-season every year now for the past 3-4 years.
I mean, I don't know if it has to do with the strategy, but what I know when I covered off-season, when you heard about the offers and these things, is if you are the last team that close the players, you are the one who has the power to decide how much you are offering. Because other way, that player won't be in the LEC, So there are teams that use this strategy. I don't know if Fnatic is one of them. I just can't say about that because I really don't know it. But yeah, I think it can be.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And obviously, yeah, it's something you could maybe use to your advantage, but also obviously there's definitely some disadvantages probably to waiting later in the offseason as well. But obviously money is definitely a big thing and definitely a thing to always consider, and that we know these teams always are considering that. But yeah, obviously there's it sounds like a ton of different options and possibilities for Fnatic. I know people are going crazy with all the different Fnatic theories in the chat and on Twitter and everything like that. So once we do actually get that Fnatic news, we'll definitely get whatever we have to you guys as soon as we can. and hopefully you guys are excited about that. And hopefully Fnatic will make some changes for the better, because I know the LEC and I guess just League of Legends in general is better when Fnatic is good, when Fnatic is competing for LEC titles, doing something at Worlds. I think that's even people who aren't necessarily Fnatic fans, I'm sure that's something they want to see, because I think we can remember, a couple years ago when it seemed like, Fnatic's going to quarterfinals all the time and pushing teams to 5 games and stuff like that. That just seems like a better thing for everybody, not this where they're going to Worlds and having drama and issues and all this stuff. It can be entertaining sometimes, but it's not what I think we all want most at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so hopefully we got everything out necessarily about Fnatic, and everything we are doing here at Sheep Esports for the rest of 2024 is powered by Holy. This is a awesome company that makes great tasting energy drinks that also just so happen to be healthier than the competition as well. They sent me this starter set deluxe, which comes with a Holy shaker and then 14 individual servings of Holy Energy, Holy Hydration, and Holy Iced Tea. So you get a ton of awesome stuff for a great price. And if you want to get even better price, check out the first link in the description below. Use discount code SE5 to get €5 off your first order, or SE10 to get 10% off your entire basket. If you guys want to help continue to allow us to provide the amazing coverage of both Worlds and the offseason that you guys know and love, definitely check out Holy, buy some stuff. It would mean the world to us. Thanks.